Watermelon versus Pumpkin.
Would you like to get kicked in the nuts for free?
I don't know how we start these things when we're in the same room. I don't know. I don't remember. And I forget, but here we are on the Watermelon versus Pumpkin podcast.
It's been a long
Godcast,
time.
Squadcast.
There's no screen here.
Shouldn't have left you.
Look, he's here. Touching a nigga. We here. We're in the same room. It's been a long time.
Been a long time.
Should have left you.
Left you. Without a pandemic to sweat through.
Woo! But we're back.
We're about to knock out some cool half-hour episodes. And the first thing that we did was we watched a documentary on Vice about white people, white person in particular,
Tiago.
that went to a historically black college. And I don't know if it's hardships, but just the journey, basically.
The journey of and what he was about and what's going on there. And I believe it was Morehouse. It was the college he chose. There was a lot. It was a lot in here. So, we're going to try to squeeze it in this 30 minutes. But it was it was on Vice. Documentary I had seen up there, and I thought it was pretty interesting of, things you don't hear about. Okay, we have this white student that wants to go to an all-black college. You gotta ask why. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was the entire documentary was
What?
Sister Girl Cocked Head, Why You Want to Come Here.
Right.
That was seemed to be the overall genesis.
Right, yeah. And his name was Tiago. I forget his last name.
I don't even know if they gave it, to be honest.
Yeah, Tiago, white gentleman, who's like, hey, I want to be here, and this is where I chose to be. And his story was very interesting to me as far as it's almost like you look at it like he was like a minority when he was in kindergarten. He was the only white kid in kindergarten. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Through grade school, basically.
Grade school. He was like in an all-black, majority all-black school through grade school. And then when he got into the middle school to high school, it was all predominantly white. So he went from like one extreme to the next, which was very interesting to me that like he almost did like a clinical study. You know what I'm saying? Of like a youthful clinical study of like, hey, we're going to take this little grain of salt and throw it in this pepper pack. And then we're going to take it.
Oh, my God. And then we're going to dump some salt back on top of it.
Dump salt and then see if we can find it. So before when I saw the title of it, and I was like, my question is the same, like you said, the question they had through the whole thing is, why, brother? What is your angle? Now, let me just explain something to you real quick. What I see, let me talk from the patch, a watermelon, to speak across the pond real quick to the other patch. Sometimes there's certain things. Why that would come across funny to somebody that if you wouldn't know or wouldn't understand, well, why would they be upset with that? Okay, it's not to say that, no, it's not an equality, but it's like going to those schools, as he was saying in the documentary and stuff, is like the people that go there was like, no, it was a sense of pride, almost like for the ancestors and a certain comfort level of sort of say, because a lot of colleges where you have colleges, period, are usually predominantly not a lot of black students. You know what I'm saying? It's just the numbers game. You go into the numbers game of who's not fitting in those numbers to go to those schools. Maybe the money's not there or whatever, the finances to afford these schools or resources, But you got to understand what it's like. There's been so much at times of people feeling like, well, you motherfuckers over there come take all our shit. You got to take everything we do. Why you got to do? You know what I mean? Like, hip-hop was cool, but then it's like, when you say the man, it don't mean like, you can't say all white people. It's just the powers that be, they happen to be white. And they're the ones that run the country. It's like, hey, we're going to take that. We're going to run with it. We're going to FDC it. And we're going to ram it to the ground. We're going to sell products to it. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, that happens, But I think that happens with anything that's popular and dope. But I feel like when you get into those spaces where they're like, this is their little space they like, or like, this is the space I want to come to. So then when you walk in the door, it's almost like, yo, man, damn. So why are you here? Are you kind of like doing this whole weird culture vulture thing? Or are you like it's almost like people look at it like it's an angle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like, not to say that's a correct way to look at it, but that's how somebody would look at it. Because you would think of it like, why would you want to come here?
I don't think there's any correct or incorrect way to look at it. It also brought me back to the thing of how we've discussed before. I personally don't want it, but I also personally don't see a problem with segregation. How if
Right.
this is not how I want to live, but if you want to live as a black person where you just want to be around black people, I feel like that should be a situation that if enough people want that, that should be a reality.
Right.
And it is funny how, and I feel it too. I'm not saying that I don't, but as soon as you turn the corner towards the other races, it gets weird.
Right.
As soon as you go, well, then shouldn't there be an area where white people can be, where just white people want to be around white people? Somehow that's immediately, oh my fucking God, how could you?
Right.
How dare you?
But yeah.
I think that should be able to exist if that's what people want, as well as if black people want an area where they just want to be black people over here and do their thing alone, that should exist as well. That's personally not how I want to live.
Right.
I don't mind being around people, but
Right.
there are groups that feel that way, and I'm not trying to waste all my time trying to make somebody else think the way that I think, you know?
Right. Right. It's like, look, the ship is sailing, nigga. You getting on or not? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got time, man. Bring what you can, man. That's all you need is one luggage. Get on this motherfucker. We taking off, man. And if you don't want to ride, you don't want to ride.
I just personally don't see a problem with it to where a lot of people, they feel like if they're not included in absolutely everything, then somehow, like, because there's people who don't even want to go to a black college, but they would be like, oh my God, boy, he's got to only be black. Who gives a fuck?
Right. People that get mad about it,
yeah.
right? And I think it was like, I think the sensitivity wall should come down to the point it's like, yo, listen, let's all look at it. Their people have been fucked for a long time. They held on to like these all black historic colleges where it's like it's a safe space. Let it happen. Why the fuck are you mad about it? Let it be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've had this conversation with somebody in the past before. You know, I'm always good for a good conversation. You know, when you hear people say stupid, it's like, oh, I'll talk to you instead of like, why does it have to be BET? Why do they have to say what? Why do they have to say? Why does it have to be black entertainment television? But why not? I get what you're saying. It's like, but my thing is like, you can't expect a group of people that been through years and years of traumatic experiences to just now stop because you say stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like it has to gradually kind of, we got to get there, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't force people to like, yeah, I know we're fucked up before. I know, but it's not like that now. But yeah, but you got people, lineage of people that have been raising kids that they had it fucked up for them, and then things are happening. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll see something that makes what was said to them true or appear more true. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like in time where there's more numbers of people that are equal. Your Asian community, your Spanish, the blacks, and your numbers are getting there. You're in a country where predominantly was built by people that were Caucasian that started it. You know what I'm saying? It's like their numbers are going to be bigger. You know what I mean? It's like Africa, there are more black people in Africa. There's a lot of whites and stuff going on over there, but your dominant is Africa because they're African people from that from that continent. You know what I'm saying? Continent. You know what I'm saying? You can't force these things, man. You know
and in
the
documentary, I do understand the concerns because there were other colleges that were historically black colleges that are now, like they were saying, 75% white because of whatever it was. But
it just takes away from when you're in the black community wants to hold on to something they find prideful, and then when they feel it's infiltrated, they feel a certain kind of way, man. And you gotta kind of respect that a little bit. I think when people get all hands up in the air, it's like, yo, you gotta respect that, man. If they want to hold on to something that they cherish, that's near and dear, like, hey, I had a lot of ancestors that fought to have these schools and these doors open, and I want to be a part of this to make the country better, you know. And with Tiago, shout out to him because digging into his style, that's kind of what it seemed to be what he wanted to do.
He said he liked the message more than anything, and he saw that the goal was to just be a strong leader, and that's what he wanted to be. So he enjoyed that aspect of it. Along with, like we said, he grew up in grade school being around all black people, so he was comfortable with that. And then he had talked about then when he went to high school, and you saw the picture that he took with every single person named Brad in the world was in that photo. Right. You know, with the salmon shorts and the with the collared shirt, you know what I mean? All the polo. And I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's
I hear you though. I feel like it's, and I think people give too much shit, but I feel like you should be able to choose your community, man. If you're all white and you grew up a certain way, or if you were exposed to a couple things and you feel like, hey, I really enjoy hanging with the black community, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, community should pull you in. It's like, hey, you like how we do things? Come on over.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's almost like as long as you're not coming here with that sideways shit. And that's the problem, I think, with a lot of black people we have because of so much that's have happened. It's a PTSD thing, man. It's hard to just kind of like, nigga, what's your angle? You know what I'm saying? It's like we always think it's a size up move. Or what's the real big deal, man? Are you just now you're trying to know the culture as an insulting way? Like fucking B-Rad, like yo, yo, yo. And when you get like some of those things, like, are you trying to do that type of shit? Or are you really trying to like, yo, I need to make change? And I appreciated his message where he was like, yo, like people get a lot of shit for not taking time to try to understand the culture and get involved. I'm doing that. So you can't knock them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I'm doing that shit. Like, I want to be a part of the change for this country. So what other way to do it but get on the front lines? I'll come on the front lines with you. Let's talk black problems. I'm not black. Talk to me.
Yep. That's what I like. And it was funny because the minority of the black conversation that was going on, the minority was the one voice of the black girl that said like, well, I mean, if he's trying to figure it out, I don't see the problem. Or it might have been a gentleman that said that. I'm not sure who said it, but there were also, you could tell there were voices that were, no, just no. It's over. It's over. No matter what. Yep. And like I said, I don't mind those people existing and wanting to live like that. I just don't see it as everybody pretends to be so, I want everyone to be able to do what they want to do. And there's also a caveat to that ends with, as long as I agree with it. When, like I said, for me, I'm down to be around as many people as possible. It doesn't, like, I've never felt more comfortable around, like, good, as long as I only got my white friends. That shit doesn't matter to me. And obviously, I don't understand it on the black side either. But if that's how you feel most comfortable, I'm okay with that. And I don't understand, and it doesn't matter if I'm okay with that. That's just how... If that's how you want it, like there's so many people who we accept everything's okay as long as I agree with it. When you got to understand that you can accept stuff that you don't agree with as well, and it's not harming anyone. And because you don't believe in it, don't agree with it, doesn't matter. It's still okay to exist. And how much of your time and your personal energy are you going to waste on something that doesn't fucking matter to you and doesn't affect you at all? That's the weird shit to me. People are getting so wrapped up in caring about stuff that really doesn't affect them.
It doesn't affect them. And it's like you're making it a problem. You know, I always think like, it's a couple things I always try to put in. It's like exposure and understanding. To exposure to what the fuck it is and have an understanding. You know what I mean? It's like, why do most black people like, or why are black people like that? Well, have you had some exposure to families, people around them, and had an understanding of where maybe you understand where they're coming from instead of just saying that. And then you have to do the same way. Black people having different kind of exposures to whites. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't have to be only time you interact because, you go into like certain neighborhoods, predominantly black neighborhood. When you've grown up in the hood, you're from these neighborhoods, man. Your only exposures to whites are usually like police, fire, teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like legal. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's just, they own stores or there's something. So then if you feel slighted or you had something happen to you and you have what you feel is positive reaffirmation that, hey, what I've been taught to about from people that had shit happen to them their whole lives and what they've been telling me to watch out for, I just tasted a little bit of it.
That legend gets passed down.
Right. Now I'm on board. Because it's like all I need to do is see something. And that goes just as much as for the the hillbilly guy who wants to like hate all other races for no reason. He's giving that to his seeds. And as soon as they see something that makes what he was saying this whole time turn into a light bulb, that now you lost one. You lost one to daddy's fucked up. However he was fucked up.
And I think that also is something that you have to be cautious of is confirmation bias because that happens in politics all the time. If you like Joe Biden, then the bad news about Joe Biden you are going to shun away. And the good news you're going to be like, see, he's doing a good job. Right. And it's vice versa for everybody. I'm not shitting on him or praising him either way. It's
rooting. You're fanatics, man.
Yep.
You're a fan. That's
and
what this shit is.
And honestly, it's the same exact thing that's happening right now with there's a lot of hate in the Asian culture that seems to be going on with, but it's it's all how it's framed. It's when a white person does anything to another race, it's a hate crime.
Right.
And then
You gotta
if
get a
another race
backstory a
does
little
it,
bit. Maybe that guy
it's just a
fucked
crime.
his wife or something.
It doesn't
you know?
matter. You know, but exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you need backstory before it goes saying hate, man. But you know.
So I think it's very important to watch and to realize who's telling you the story and how they're telling you the story. And are they trying to gaslight you? Are they trying to get you to jump at what's going on?
Right.
Or can you just look at it at face value? I'd rather, I think the best news channel there ever could be is someone that just told you the fucking news and left it alone. And that's what doesn't happen so much.
Fact. This happened. This.
Yeah.
Okay, and next story. It's like, no, they sprinkle in a little bit of a suggestion. You know what I'm saying? Well, we believe that, you know.
So one thing that they didn't really get into too much at Morehouse was, are there a gang of white people beating down the door? Because I don't think they really got it. They said
They didn't.
There were a lot of people saying, we would like the school to stay how it is. It's a safe space for us, which is funny too, still about, I'm always down to, I get that you want to have the experience, but the world is not a safe space, even though it's becoming a safe space. It seems to be, but
Right.
the world is not a safe space. But then too, I also get like, hey, I just want to have this experience as this experience, even
Right.
if it's not reflective of the entire world.
Right. And you know, I almost look into it too as like when I go into that whole sense of pride, it's like there's a lot of all white colleges, man, just because they don't call them that. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what they are. You know what I'm saying? And it's a hidden sense of pride. You know, I don't want to say like it's like, hey, I'm white and you know I'm privileged and I'm here to be, you know, but it's kind of like an unspoken thing within a community like that where it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, no, we're just here. This is how we roll with the punches. You know, what I don't like is then when, you know, like say, you know, hey, we got these historically black colleges. Now we're trying to thrive. It's like, oh, there they go, wanting more. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there should, like I always said that, man, there shouldn't be anything wrong with an all-black establishment. And people start malfunctioning and looking like robots if they see it. If you walk into a Fortune 500 fucking company and majority of the faces that work there are black, where's the problem? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because you can walk into one of these buildings like that and everybody's white and nobody blinks an eye because it's became such a normality in so many years that's what we know.
Yep.
And with the numbers changing and more women and more different cultures and races are blending into these more jobs and shit that people were never able to get and put back into this country, it's changing before our eyes, man. But people still want to find things sometimes to fucking bitch about. But there is things that need to change, but sometimes it's got to be a slowdown, man.
I think honesty helps so much to where like how I said so many times in our 2020 year of podcasts is the whole playing pretend shit is what I don't get. And I don't think it helps anybody. Like I said, if what you want is to be around people of your same race, I think it's okay to say that out loud. And I don't think that also has a caveat attached to it of, and that means that I hate everybody else.
Right.
It could be a comfortability
but, you know,
thing.
People are into the shaming thing. You know what I mean? It's like, how dare you? And
But I feel like you can only get shamed if you allow it. Right. How many times do they try to cancel Bill Burr and he just goes, no, and keeps going? Like, you only get canceled if you allow it. You only get shamed if you allow it. Because that's the whole thing where somebody can say something, you could just go, no, that's not true. Right. You're allowed to say what you want. You're allowed to think what you want, but that doesn't have to change my truth of what's going on.
Right. I think it's been that thing where it was such a hard-driven thing here in this country that, you know, we go into this whole, we do need change, but people scramble so much of how to get it that they just kind of gun-ho something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Let's just ram it, cancel culture, cancel everything. Bro, that's cool and all. Like, I'm not against, like, some of the cancel shit from cancel culture shit. You know, like, I'm not against it because I'm like, yeah, well, in my eyes, when I look at it, like, yeah, well, that shit, they should have been canceled. But so whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck if it's going. Take that statue down to Columbus. I'm not going to shed a tear.
Exactly.
I know the story. If I want to go see a Columbus statue, I'll go somewhere to see it. You know what I mean? But there's people that hold on to these things where it means something to them. But I feel as though when they do that, when you're putting your pride over somebody else's pride, there's no meeting ground. All you give a fuck about is what it means to you, what this flag means to me, what this country means to you, without ever thinking about what the fuck it means to that person that also lives here. You know what I'm saying?
That also is another dangerous thing about with us changing definitions. You know how we've talked about the alphabet has changed, the definitions change, words change, and they mean different things. Like even what they were talking about in the story, in the documentary, is the word racism. And the word racism and racist means so many different things to different people. To me, racism means if I don't like you because of the color of your skin, that would be racist. Now, to other people, that is not the definition of racism.
Right.
It's there's a squirrel out there that just distracted me. It shows you how deep we are into this. Racism means the entire system that is set up, and it may not even necessarily have anything to do with white people. It's more of the entire system and the generations of inequality or equality.
And that was, I think she was a professor or something. Yeah, that was, I liked her. She, the light-skinned lady for the college. And she was speaking, when she was saying that, she was like, people that say, she's like, yeah, you know, this, when you say, because they were asking her, do you feel like it's being just as racist when you say you don't want white people to stay here? You know what I mean? And she's like, that's when she broke it down. She's like, racism is not, to her, she's like, it's not black. It's like a system set up where you're keeping out a certain group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like you're keeping them, like we're having this whole thriving country that we have, but we have to exclude somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like you're being you're saying no, not you, anybody but you. If it's anybody but you, that's usually racist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so for you, when you watched it, how did you feel about Homeboy going to a predominantly black school?
How did I feel? At first I was kind of like, is this like some sort of, I ain't gonna lie, some social experiment shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you going there with your little notepad so you can make notes and be like, I lived through the black
This is what they do.
Right. I lived through the black experience and this is what like, are you gonna take what you got there and actually learn something and actually now regurgitate and teach certain things? You know what I'm saying? That it's okay to be this way and it's okay. And hey guys, listen, they don't all use cocoa butter. I've been around. You know, it's like certain stereotypes and shit that people might have. You know what I mean? Because not for nothing, when you have a black kid that's going to predominantly all white school, he's learning these things about that culture. You know what I'm saying? He's learning what asparagus is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he might not have ever had this shit before. But you know, it's like he's exposed. Like I said, exposure and understanding, man. You're exposed to the shit and you have an understanding of how it works for them, so you can now try to get a better feeling of understanding those people, man. And it's on all sides of everybody. And I just think that it's been so much chaos within this country that it's hard to play catch up on actually getting in front of the ball. We're always behind it, fucking kicking it around like, oh yeah, everybody's racist. Everybody's racist. And, what was that? What was that, pal? What'd you say about black? My pants are black? Oh, you said I'm black. Like, there's things that exist and then there's shit that people fish for and surf for, you know what I mean? They try to find it, man. But nah, I felt as though once I felt that initially, like, what is this guy about? As it kind of got into the layers of him, I felt him a little bit, you know? But then I toyed with it because then I go like, some niggas is good in front of the camera, Mike. You know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
There was that, and also for me, there was the you're going there. But then I was like, damn, bro, but do you have to be the president of the dorm? And then I was like, all right, yeah, you're going there, but damn, like, don't you see that you're being used when he's doing the recruitment meeting and he's like, yeah, there's like 3 white kids here and you're the one doing the recruitment meeting, bringing people, like that felt to me like he was overstepping, but also somebody's letting him do that. He's not doing that on his own. Somebody's letting him. He didn't come in and take over.
Right, because they asked him about it. They said, well, how did you win? He goes, I ran an election.
Yeah.
So there you go. His peers chose it. You know what I mean? Unless somebody's, you know, I mean, there's going to be the jokes around campus. You know, it was rigged. White man involved. You know, it had to be rigged. You know what I'm saying? But he said he didn't want to. See, that was interesting. He was encouraged by his dorm mates.
Yep.
They encouraged him. His other black peers encouraged him, like, bro, you should run. That only means that he had some kind of quality that he wasn't just fucking talking about, he was doing it. You know what I mean? Like, he took action to doing something. And shit, it probably forced from kids at that school. Was like, yo, man, you got the white boy outshining you at an all black school, man. You better get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a little bit of that going on, I'm sure. But I hear what you're saying. It's like, did you have to run? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was kind of like, damn, you couldn't have just went there. But then also it does fall in line with what he had said the whole time of, I came here to be a leader and not
Right.
a leader of black people. It was
Right.
I came here to learn how to be a better leader because Morehouse, their
He
thing
said,
is
I like what they teach. Right?
Yeah.
He said, I like what they teach. I like their leadership stuff. He said, and Morehouse Man, and it's like all men's school, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So it was like Morehouse men are a certain way, and he especially when he went into the how he was treated back home. He was like, I was telling everybody back home what I wanted to do, and I was fucking shunned until like nobody supported me. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody.
Yep.
He goes, his parents kind of did. He said, but that's because I was their son. Like, yeah, they didn't believe in me, but they supported me, kind of shit. You're like, yeah, we support your son,
but they didn't believe it was going to happen.
Right, they didn't believe it was going to happen. But he's like, all his white friends were kind of like, yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of, why would you do that?
Right, but then when he had more black people he was talking to, they basically encouraged it. These are the people that he went to that he knew in his corner that were black and encouraged him. Hey, you could be something big as far as going. You're walking the walk. You know what I mean? For a lot of people that are joining the Black Lives Matter movement and doing these kind of things that want to be involved and maybe supporting some of that stuff, why not do something like that? You know what I mean? Why not apply? So I was up and down with him, but as I got through the story, he grew on me a little more. You know, I think initially it was I think I turned into the black student that saw him walking in the door the first day he walked in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I did the same reaction they did when I first saw him. Like, all right, nigga, what's your angle?
Yeah,
What kind of money you trying to make off this? What kind of dance moves you trying to steal? You kind of go into these whole things like, I think the best thing too with him, to me personally, is he kind of was himself throughout. He didn't come in with the fake accent.
Yep.
He didn't come in with fucking dreads and Rasta. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come in like over. Man. Like the guy came in. I'm a fucking lily cut straight white guy, and my hair is nice and pressed, and this is what I wear, and I'm going to continue to talk this way.
Yep.
But he's interested in becoming a better person and learning. He did research on Morehouse. So but you never know somebody's true behind the scenes. The only thing that threw me off with him sometimes is I felt like knowing that these questions were coming, he would have had a better kind of laid out answer. But I feel like he was trying to think about it, so it was kind of made sound like, I don't want to just say anything. But I feel like he gets these questions asked all the time that he should probably just be got him in his back pocket. Like I'm asked that all the time. So, and the more you tell it, the more you sound more and more passionate about it when you speak. I'm not saying he didn't sound passionate, but there might have been a little more he could have. I don't know. But I felt that he believed in what he believed in, man. You know what I mean? And that's tough to think about, man. He's a minority. He went through it. You know? And I think he had got empathy from black people being at that school of knowing that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of helped him in that sense. It's like, nigga, we know what that shit's about.
And I think he went where he was celebrated versus where you're only tolerated, to where you have people encouraging you to come, hey man, come over here. This will be a good time, versus everyone is like, man, what do you don't do. It was kind of, he had a warmness to go to. And I think that spoke to the spirit of the school.
It did, and it pulled them in, man. If anything, I think it should be more people like, hey, that's dope, man. Hey, you want to get down with us and help the movement that I'm trying to like be a part of, and you want to help that? Listen, man, you can't do it all by yourself. You need alliances and people that want to fight for your cause. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter what they look like. If they believe in what you believe in, then that's your guy or your girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, you want to fight the fight? Give a fuck what I look like. You believe in the same principles and morals I do, then let's ride together. You know what I mean? But I felt like he was getting a lot of shit, but then it's like, I feel that too. I feel it rightfully so too. Because
I think, of course, people are going to question the same. Like I said, there were some girls who were just not with it. Just not with it. When the girls were outside talking about, well, you figure if he comes here, then he at least has to know some of it. And then there was some other angry girls who were just like, nah, fuck that. I didn't get a book explaining what to do. And you have to understand there's always going to be. The thing is, not everyone's going to feel the same way. And I think that's what we're trying to do as a world is this is an issue and everyone has to feel this way about it. And that's just not how the fucking world is. Everybody is going to have different opinions on everything. And that doesn't make anybody right or wrong.
Right.
You know,
it's like your pain doesn't supersede somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? Your shit, your pain is deep. Listen, black people, we got deep pain in this country, man. But you can't take away from your personal, hardships and just put it on somebody and just assume already that that every white person has privilege. There is a privilege of maybe being in looking a certain way in certain situations that's going to help them. You know what I'm saying? But you can't just assume every one of them is a certain way because you ain't doing all the same shit they doing, man. Just saying every black person, can't make it to college. Every black person selling drugs or is a pimp or you gotta like rap music. I mean, you know how many fucking black people that don't listen to like rap music probably have to hear shit about it. You know what I'm saying? From their own people, like, what? Nigga, you ain't black. The fuck you mean you don't listen to hip hop?
And also, I would encourage people to not let somebody else ruin your experience. Like, there were some people that are angry that he was there, but don't let him ruin your experience because even like Homeboy said, there's fucking 3 people that weren't black there. Don't let that ruin the entire fucking experience for you because you had to see a fucking white person.
You're not even going to see them that often.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to say that reverse racism is like how that lady explained it. I like how she did that. But it's like you are giving the same energy that if I turned your skin white, you're doing the same thing that was done back in 50-something.
Yeah.
But the premise was different. The premise back then was like, hey, these people are different and they're like animals and they were slaves and we can't have them around us because they're just, Over here it's like, hey, you guys treat us like animals and like slaves and we finally got something. Why you want to take this too? You know what I'm saying? So it kind of turns into that. It's a PTSD in this country, man. There's no other way for me to fucking explain it, man. It's like there was some fucked up shit that's been done and the people are still around that the shit happened to, so we're not that far away from healing. You know what I mean? It's like we're still in the healing process and it's going to be some time, man, and we're still, feeling the residuals of the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's, black people stay strong, fight for the right thing and, white people, you can do the same, and we all come together for a common goal, man. And if not, then go live in your own communities, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But just know the trade is what you need, and if you can't get along with nobody, then good luck if you growing your own shit and not dealing with anything.
Yep.
Because you got to deal with somebody at some point, and I think that's when people, we can't change them, but hopefully they get to that point, man, that they want to change. That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, and I would say on every side, don't judge people by their race, by the skin, because nobody wants to be judged like that. So no matter what side is doing it, I'm not only talking about white or black.
Yep.
No side wants you to go, oh, you're whatever color, so fill in the blank.
Right.
It's fucking annoying on all sides.
Right. You gotta fit into one of these guidelines, right?
Yeah.
You gotta, like I've had a couple things like happen recently where, I do these little slick. It's the Northeast slid in high talk where, you're not sure sometimes if somebody's being sarcastic or being naive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to the eye doctors and, I had my hair out, I had it all like, out wild and shit or whatever like I do. And, she's like, oh my God, older white lady, probably in her 60s or something. She's like, so now she's all that fascinated with the hair thing. And she goes, how do you get it like that? And I was kind of like,
it comes that way, baby.
Right. What I said to her was it's like Don King. I just woke up and it stayed like this. And I just kept it like that.
Alexa, stop.
So it was kind of like, oh, but I was kind of being slick with it because I wasn't sure if she was naive or being funny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that happens a lot of time with black people in this country because we've had so much of that underhanded shit that the sideways look's gonna come. Like, nigga, you being funny?
Yeah, yeah.
Or you being serious, or you're just dumb to ask something like, "Can I feel your hair?" You know what I'm saying? Or I've had these questions. You know what I'm saying?
And also, I think it is because of a person of that age just might not have had that many experiences with black people. You know what I mean? Like, just and understand it.
No exposure, man. They don't understand. They don't understand. You know what I'm saying? She has no exposure to black people. Yep. She's probably never been that close to one that actually touched the hair.
Exactly.
And sometimes my demeanor sometimes is welcoming to people. So it's like, I felt that was like a blessing and a curse for me because sometimes people would forget that shit and they would ask some things because I have a welcoming demeanor where I might have to check somebody on it. Like, yo, hold on, man.
Yep. It's not that sweet.
Right. This is why you want to know what's going on the black side. You doing shit like that is what gets black people mad with shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just always I hate you because you're black. No, it's that oh my God, I feel so uneducated. And what does your hair feel like? And oh my God, is your penis so bigger? What is that? I don't, like stupid shit like that. Why are your lips so much bigger and juicier than ours? It just, cause nigga, why could Jamaicans run faster? I don't know, nigga. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
So I would say, because we got to get out of here, but what I'll say is, like you're saying this whole time, let the white man steal from you one more time. And I will say exposure and understanding is a great way to put it. And I think that's what more people need is the exposure and understanding. And there's no more bitch energy. And I'm not talking about female. I'm talking about being a scared small person. There's no more bitch energy than being afraid of something you don't understand. If you have not been around black people, so now you're fucking scared of them. So now that comes out in fucking, and the same way the other way. If you haven't been around enough white people to where all you have is this vision of white people, and how many bums have I told on the fucking streets of New Haven? No, just white, not rich. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real. So I would say be nice to each other because you're never going to get anything by just fucking hating somebody else because of whoever they are and whatever they're doing. Go in with being nice first. If somebody gives you the initial, cool, then it's fuck you. But just
he's an asshole's an asshole. They come in all kinds of shades, man.
Exactly. So bleach your asshole.
So bleach your asshole and keep it safe. But nah, this was a good doc. Yeah. Only knock I had on for the university is the line he said, but I understood it. He was like, my thing was like, he was backpedaling on why the white student was there, the guy that was a faculty member.
Yep.
Well, the numbers are bad. We got to do something. It's a money thing. It's a money thing. You keep saying that thing as opposed to maybe being open-minded, like, hey, it's a change thing. He wants a little change. We're going to keep it predominantly black. It's a black school. But if you sprinkle in a couple, but they're scared of the gentrification. So I get it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. The whole money thing is like, don't make that like, but he was being honest. But that's back to, again, him being honest. To be honest with you, a lot of colleges ain't going to say that. Hey, man, we did this shit for the money.
Yep.
So you gotta respect that, too. It's like, hey, it's a money thing, man. You want the doors to stay open?
Mm-hmm. That's, bro. And that brings me back to there's no need to play pretend with anything in this life.
Yep.
It's all good to be honest, and that's the only way that we're going to understand each other. So we'll leave you with that. Be honest with people, and that's how you're going to be able to understand each other. And like you said,
exposure and understanding, man.
It's beautiful.
Honesty. Those are 3 words that's going on a T-shirt for you niggas.
Exactly. And until next time, click all of our links down below. You know what it is. Episode 201.
Beginning of the day.
It's the beginning of the night.
It's the end of the day. End of the night.
It's the end of the night.
It's been so long. Niggas know.
Peace.
Watermelon versus Pumpkin.